Start.
Hello students, today we will do further explanation of the chapter The Fun They Had. In the at last we have seen there, right, the Marquis' mother called that county inspector. Inspector came at her house to repair that machine. See, now how that person was, he was a round little man with a red face and whole box of tools with dials and fires. That person brought box of the tools, right, he brought everything with him to repair that machine. He smiled at her and gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. Margie had hoped he would not know how to put it together again, but he knew how all right, and after an hour or so, there it was again, large, black, and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. Now, what happened here? Margie was thinking something else. What she was thinking? She was thinking that this person will not be able to repair this machine as early as possible. But what happened here? Contrary happened here. What happened? That person had mastery. He repaired that machine within an hour, and again he fit that machine on that screen, and again in front of Margie, that large, black, and ugly. Why she said this ugly? Because she did not like this mechanical teacher with big screen came there, and on the screen what she showed there? She showed that all lesson came, and also that all lesson and questions came in front of her. All questions asked again in front of her. That was so bad, and she did not like these questions and all the lessons. Again she had to learn everything. She did not like it. The part she hated most was the slot where she had to put homework, made her homework and test the papers. Now what happened here? When that mechanical teacher came in front of her again, mechanical teacher asked her to submit the homework and test the paper, and where she had to submit in particular slot, in particular area of the computer. So first of all, before the next session, she had to submit this homework and test the paper. She always had to write them out in a punch code they made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. Now what happened? How she had to submit all that homework and test the paper in one particular language. Punch code means here computing language, and she learned this language when she was just 6 years old. She learned this punch code, she learned this computer language, and she had to submit this all homework and test paper in that particular language. And the mechanical teacher first see all the things and it calculated, and then after it declared her marks within a few seconds. See, next, the inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted her head. He said to her mother, "It's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometime. I have slowed it up to an average 10-year level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory." And he patted Margie's head again. Now, what did inspector say to her mother? Inspector said to her mother that this is not the Margie's fault. This is the fault of geography sector. What geography sector had done? Geography sector adjusted this level of computer. It's very high, and the Margie was 11 years old, and her progress was not that much good. Her progress was very satisfactory. So I set it down again. I slowed it up, average of 10-year level, right? So 1 year back he set it again, and he patted Margie's head again. Now, it means here finally mechanical teacher came in front of Margie, and what Margie's mind was, she was very disappointed to see again that mechanical teacher in front of her. So she was disappointed there, and she had been hoping they would take the teacher away altogether. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. Why she was disappointed? Because she got again that mechanical teacher, and that time only she reminded something. What she reminded? Once Tommy's teacher also had some problem, and that county inspector had taken a month to repair that machine. So during that time Tommy was free. So she was thinking that if my machine also will take some for a month to repair it, so I will be also free. I will not have to do some further study. So she was thinking, but here what happened, that mechanical teacher came in front of her again. And what history sector now she describing, history sector was blanked out from the Tommy's machine. So that problem also happened with Tommy's machine. It took 1 month to repair it, but finally what happened, that thing not happen with Margie's, right? So she said to, now she was not that much interested in mechanical teacher. So again she just changed her mood and going towards that real book, right? So she asked another question to the Tommy. Why would anyone write about school? She asked this question to Tommy, right? Tommy looked at her and with a very superior eyes. Why here superior eyes? Because Tommy knows something more than Margie, and he just here expressing what, I know something extra than Margie. So in a superior way, he was looking towards Margie. Right? And what he said, because it's not our kind of school, stupid. This is the old kind of school that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago. He added loftily, pronouncing the word carefully, centuries ago. Now what he said, Tommy replied that when Margie asked this question, which question, why would anyone write about school? Tommy replied with a superior way. What he said, first of all, Tommy said Margie was a stupid, Margie was a silly, because she did not know anything about the school, right? So he said, because it's not our kind of school, they have a different kind of school, they had 100 years ago. What he said, many years ago, they have a different kind of school, not like our school. And then after he added loftily means what, he shouted, and then after he added what he said, not 100 years ago, but centuries ago, right? He said centuries ago this type of school was there. Margie was hurt. Now what happened? He shouted on Margie. Who? Tommy shouted on Margie. So Margie felt insult here. What she thought here? She just said, well, I do not know what kind of school they had all that time ago. She read the book over his shoulder for a while, then said, anyway, they had a teacher. Now what happened? She felt some insult there, right? Because Tommy shouted on her, right? So one side she just sat there with that real book, and she started to read that real book. And see what she read there? She read there, they had a teacher. Suddenly she shouted, they had a teacher. A teacher is a man. Surely they had a teacher, but it was not a regular teacher. It was a man. Tommy replied there, yes, they had a teacher, but it was not a regular man. Tommy said, person as a teacher was not regular, but our mechanical teacher is a regular. What Tommy tries to say, these things right here. So he said, yes, they had a teacher, and that teacher was a man, a person, a human being, right? A man? How could a man be a teacher? Again, who asked this question? Margie asked this question. A man? How could be a man? A person can be a teacher. She asked this question. Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. Yes, person as a teacher was there, right? He means who? A person, a human being. What he had done there? He just told the boys and girls. He just said to the students, right? What? Things, and gave them, he just discussed everything in front of the students. He just gave homework to the students and asked some questions. Who? A person as a teacher. A man is not smart enough. Margie said, a man is not smart enough, is not as smart as our mechanical teacher. Margie said, sure, he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. Who said this? Tommy replied, yes, a man also can be as smart as mechanical teacher, because here Tommy comparing this mechanical teacher with his father. What he said, my father also as knowledgeable as mechanical teacher. He said here he is comparing what? Mechanical teacher with his father, right? Because his father is a person and he was also a teacher, right? So he said these things to the Margie. He can't. A man can't know as much as a teacher. Just Margie said, no, it is not possible, right? What she said here? She said, a man can't know as much as a mechanical teacher. He knows almost as much, I betcha. Who said? Tommy said, I betcha. Betcha means what? I am sure, right? I am sure that man also knows almost as much mechanical teacher, right? So, Margie was not prepared to dispute that. She said, I would not want a strange man in my house to teach me. Now, every time Margie agreed with him because she was just 11 years old and Tommy was 13 years old. So, every time she agreed with him. So, here also she agreed and said, right, okay, to dispute means here she agreed. She said, I would not want a strange man in my house to teach me. I will not allow you a person will come at my house and he will teach me in my house. So I will not accept this. She said this, right? So here Margie said disagree with the person as a teacher. See, now Tommy screamed with laughter. You do not know much, Margie. The teacher did not live in a house. They had a special building. All the kids went there. Now, when the Margie said that, I will not allow a person will come at my house and he or she will teach me. I will not accept this. But then after, suddenly Tommy screamed with laughter. He shouted and laughed on her. What he said? You do not know much. Margie, the teachers did not live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. Now what Tommy said here, Tommy explained everything. Teacher will not come at the house. The teacher and student both will go in one particular building and they will learn and teach everything there only. Right? All the kids learn the same things. Who asked this question? Margie asked this question, right? All the kids, all students learn everything same there, right? Sure, if they were the same age. Yes, Tommy replied, yes, same age students will learn everything same there, right? He said, but my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl. It teaches that each kid has to be taught differently. Now, that time only, Margie reminded something else. What she reminded? Once her mother told her that, what her mother told, every child will be learned separately there, right? And the teacher will be adjusted to fit the mind of each student, each child. And here, she reminded that you said the same students, same age student will learn same together. Right? So here she comparing these things and said to the Tommy that no, my mother was telling me this, right? Every child will be learn everything separately in their depending on their mind, mental level, right? She just said this. Just the same they did not do it. That way then, if you do not like it, you do not have to read the book. Now here Tommy irritated, right? And what he said to Margie? He said to Margie that if you do not like it, please keep it away from you, right? He said, and you do not have to read this book. Now he shouted on her. I did not say I did not like it. मैंने ये तो नहीं कहा कि मुझे ये पसंद नहीं है. Who said? Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny school. अब उसको अपनी स्कूल तो लाइक नहीं थी. She didn't like her own mechanical teacher. So she was interested to read about that funny school. Means for her it was a funny, right? They were not even half finished when Margie's mother called Margie's school. Just Margie started her reading about that real book. What happened? So in between of it, right, Margie's mother called her. Now we'll stop it here.